Welcome back, YouTubians. Welcome back to the Openly Occultic Book Club. We're on episode 3 of the Complete Book of Numerology. On our last episode, we covered numbers 1 through 3. And today we're going to go ahead and pick up on number 4. And hopefully we can complete chapter 5 of the book, which is going over the birth chart, right? The numbers in the birth chart. Or if not, we'll complete chapter 5 tomorrow or the next day, the next episode, and we'll go on because we're on page 28 of this book and there's 205 pages. So I want to thank you all for being here with me today. Right? Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, right? Let other people know that we are watching this and you want to make sure you don't miss any episodes. And when you like the videos, it helps the algorithm determine whether or not people are into this type of content. So if you would, please make sure to like the video, share the video as far and wide as possible, right? We're going to go ahead and jump back into this book. I'm excited. I've been enjoying reading this book. I told you guys you can meet me in the Openly Occultic Book Club chat room so that we can talk about our birth charts, right? Our numerology, our numerological makeup, right? You can meet us there. The book club chat room is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you're welcome to drop in. We've been getting some new members in lately, more people joining us, signing up, and meeting us there in the room. So I hope to see you soon, right? I hope to see you guys soon. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump in this book um, because it's very insightful. Very insightful, very impactful. Come to find out, I have 2 number 1s, and I had one. I didn't have any number 2s or 3s, and I won't have any 4s in my birth chart. My birthday is June 19, 1980. So I have a bunch of 1s, 6, 9, 8, right? This is what it looks like. This is what we've been going over. It's not the same as how I first learned about numerology and my life path number, because for me, I just added the digits up and deducted them till I got down to one digit. Not deducted them, but reduced them down to one digit. So here we have a new system. It looks like a tic-tac-toe grid, right? So very, very different. But I see that the soul plane, that top, conscious plane at 369, and we know these are like the secrets to the universe, right? Tesla said if we know about the 369, we'll know the secrets to the universe. So we read about number 3 last time. Now we're going to go into number 4, because number 3 was about memory, right? The mind, and particularly the memory. And we saw a pattern unfolding as we went through numbers 1, 2, and 3. Because we saw that if you have the single digit, you'll have that single frequency, right? But if you were to double that frequency up or triple it up even, instability starts to creep in. Instability starts to creep in. So we're going to get into number 4 and see if that pattern still exists, right? See if that's actually the case. And make sure I don't have any. I see a little snap, crackle, pop. And I don't want that. All right, for number 4, symbolically, the number 4 represents containment and regularity as depicted by the square. Let's pull it up again. The number 4 represents containment and regularity. It's a practical and material number located squarely in the center of the physical plane of the birth chart. People with this number are generally tidy and meticulous, practical and organized. Okay, okay. Birth charts without a 4 indicate a degree of impatience in the person, but the degree to which this prevails depends significantly upon other numerological factors, such as the ruling number, the day number, and the arrows. We haven't read about that yet, so we're looking forward to the next few chapters when we get through chapter 5, covering these numbers. For example, if they possess the arrow of the intellect, they'll be impatient with people who don't speedily grasp explanations or concepts. If they have the arrow of emotional balance, they'll be impatient with people who don't keep their emotions under control. Such an impatient disposition can be largely overcome by conscious attention to detail and by care and concern for other people's needs, right? Consideration. Absolutely. When we say love is the nucleus of all things, consideration is right there with love. Be considerate. Love thy neighbor. Care and concern for your neighbor's needs, right? Absolutely. So it didn't really discuss what it is if you don't have a number 4 in your box designated for the numbers 4. But generally, it doesn't say that you're broken or you're not complete or something's lacking in you, or you know what I mean. It's saying that you have to work hard and you need to practice it, like lifting weights. You need to practice it for it to, you know, be useful for you. Otherwise, it would atrophy. Meaning, if you don't use it, it'll just kind of waste away. So, practice patience is what I would say from what I see here, you know. But here we go. What if you do have a number 1? What if you have one number 4, not a number 1, but a 4? What if you have one number 4 in your number 4 box? Because remember, if you have multiple 4s, you just put them both in the 4 box. The box doesn't change, right? So for me, I have a bunch of 1s in my birth chart, being born on the 19th in 1980. So I have 2 1s, so I have 2 number 1s in my 1 box square. And now we're about to talk about, well, if you have 1 4, and we'll talk about that, but it'll go on to maybe you have 2 4s, maybe you have 3 4s, and so on and so forth, right? So that's what we're talking about. Thank you for your patience. Speaking of number 4s, right? Thank you for your patience. These people with one number 4, these are active people who express a natural identity with the practical, right? With the practical, including organizational, technical, financial, and or physical involvements, gardening, manual arts, building, and so on. Their most fluent avenue of expression will be generally indicated by their ruling number. And we'll see about that in chapter 7. Preferring to work with concrete rather than theoretical concepts, these people are often skeptical when it comes to obscure theories. They prefer practice to principles and become impatient with unwarranted delays and procrastination. They want to get on with the task at hand and will become especially dogmatic about this, as they also possess a number 7 in the birth chart. People with 1 4 also have a 7 in the birth chart. Is that what he just said? Too much emphasis on the physical can make them somewhat materialistic. This is a negative aspect of the 4, and its intention is to teach them to use their natural patience to avoid extreme materialism, best achieved through the development of care and compassion for others. Only in this way will they attain lasting friendships and happiness. Okay, so impatience, becoming particularly dogmatic. What happens if you double up that frequency? Right? What happens if you have 2 4s? The double 4 can lead to an unbalanced outlook that relates everything to the physical and material. Okay? The powerful utilitarian aspect of these people must seek balanced expression between the physical, mental, and spiritual. This allows them to learn to identify and be in harmony with their thoughts and feelings. Okay? So these people have to seek balanced expression between the physical, mental, and spiritual. If their ruling number is spiritual or mental, and we'll learn more about that again in chapter 7, these people will have a greater natural ability to rise above the physical than if their ruling number were also physical. Okay, I see that. I see how that would be. A well-chosen name will also be of considerable help to achieve balance. See chapter 13. So a name can counterbalance the number, the birth number. So, you can do conscious planning around your child. You can definitely plan on having your child in a certain month to be a certain particular zodiac if you wanted to, right? Like we know it's about 9 months from the time of, you know, doing the act. So you can choose to have a winter baby, a summer baby, a fall baby, a spring baby, whatever the month may be. You can choose to have an Aries, an Aquarius, a Gemini, right? Whatever you want. Um, uh, or you can at least consciously work on that. And now, if you have a child, and you won't know, what their life path number will be until they finally come out. Children are born premature, we know that. So as much as you try to set a target for what kind of zodiac sign you want your child to be, once they come, they're here, and now you can add up their birth date and see what their life number is. And apparently, if their life number is one that will, when you're doubling up these numbers, it gets more and more erratic. The energy gets more and more erratic, and there's an unraveling in the midst of that. So you can counter out that life number with a well chosen name to give it balance, to give this child's energy a little bit more balance. That's great to know. Wow. What do you guys think of that? That's cool. My life path number is 7, and would you know it? My name adds up to the number 7 as well. So either way, I'm here to be a life path number 7, right? Shout out to the life number 7s. You know who you are, right? Okay, the more 4s on the birth chart, the greater the need for balance to be developed, right? So the well-chosen name comes into play there. And greater care must be exercised in choosing friends. They should especially endeavor to steer clear of the hard drinking, heavy smoking type of person, for they require far more sensitivity from friends and colleagues if they're going to be successful in developing balance in their lives. These people will benefit from the company of others who enjoy the aesthetic and cultural qualities of life. Okay. All right. Now, what if you have 3 4s? All the aspects of the double 4 prevail here, only with greater intensity. For these people experience even greater difficulty rising above the physical. And even when they do, they're so often drawn back by materialism. Those who recognize this pull to materialism must employ great effort of will and be receptive to dedicated, caring guidance. Okay? So if you have 3 life number 4s, there's your tip, your advice, right? And here we know why. Okay, the double 4. It's on that physical plane, and it's in the center of it, right? Look at that. It's in the center of that physical plane. I really need to be talking to people like you because, I can be so airy that I lose a little bit of practicality in the process. So you have great advice to give, but we understand that you can, I'm talking to all, if you, whether you have 1, 2, 3, 4, you have great advice to give for me because I could use a little bit more practical on the physical plane, right? I could use a little bit more learning of that and understanding those ways, right? We're here in a physical reality. That's just the facts. So we need to learn how to play the game, or at least able to operate within this game, this structure, if you will, right? Many people with this aspect feel the constant pull towards hard manual work and persist with it to the point of exhaustion, not realizing that their lesson is the mastery of it rather than enslavement to it. Okay? Only through such mastery do they acquire the desirable balance between the physical and mental and spiritual expression. They must guard against relating everything to the physical and going overboard about such concerns as neatness. People with 3 or 4 fours have a tendency towards weak lower limbs, for they place a lot of emphasis on the legs. They should take exceptional care of their knees, ankles, and feet. Okay, now we know. Glad to know for sure. That's why we're here at this book club. We like to know. We're glad to know. We're going to take this information and do something with it. But first, we know the key is to learn about it. We need to know these things, first of all, and then we can do something with this information. So we're thankful, right? What if you have 4 fours? This is another extremely rare occurrence, like the 4 3s and the 4 2s, right? And so on, and the ones. It last happened on April 24th, 1944, and will next occur on April 4th, 2044, right? Due to the extreme pull of the physical, extreme care in all activities must be taken. There exists a critical weakness in their lower limbs, which for many will result in temporary or permanent crippling. Wow. How do they know that? I mean, I see what we're reading, but everything in general that we're reading in here about numerology, how do they know this? Right? So if you have more than 3 fours, if you have 4 fours and on up, I would assume, there exists a critical weakness in your lower limbs, so you could become temporary or permanently crippled. Wow. All the advice and help suggested for those with 3 fours applies even more so when 4 fours appear on the birth chart. Extreme patience is demanded with these people, as they're so highly skeptical of non physical or metaphysical concepts. You can easily become bored with their one eyed pragmatism. Right? Number 5. The unique position of this number, right? Moving on to the number 5. The unique position of this number in the center of the birth chart demands special attention. Okay. It governs the intensity of human feelings like no other influence on the birth chart. Wow. As the second number on the soul or feeling plane, the number 5 is the numerological equivalent of the heart chakra. Wow. For it symbolizes love and freedom of expression emotionally and artistically. It's the only number on the birth chart to have direct contact with every other number. Its symbolic love influences and enhances the expression of every quality in life as expressed by the other numbers or frequencies. Its other unique factor is its containment, being completely boxed in and surrounded, whereas each of the other 8 numbers is open to the universe. At first glance, this might appear a paradox for the number that represents freedom, but it actually indicates how freedom must be attained by dismantling rigid barriers that seek to entrap humans. Right? Wow, that's a word. And look at it. We can see it symbolically. Symbols are frequencies, numbers, letters, colors, frequencies, vibration. And we can see these symbols. And we can, even the lines, the tic-tac-toe box itself is a symbol. And we can see this. How amazing. Do you guys love it? You guys like to hear about this kind of stuff? I like hearing it. I like to hear this kind of stuff. Go ahead and um uh like the video if you enjoy this, right? If you're enjoying this, make sure to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more, right? Yes. So, it's teaching us something about freedom and how it must be attained, this number 5. This number 5 is equivalent to the heart chakra. It symbolizes love and freedom of expression. Can you guys believe it? Wow. Do you have a 5 in your chart? So, again, it doesn't specify or discuss what about if you don't have any number 5s. But again, just so you know, and you could go look at the video previous to this one and the one before that. You can watch the first 2 episodes and see that up until now, it was telling us, what if you don't have this number in your box. And I'm going to just continue assuming it's the same thing, that it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you or that you're broken or you don't have that. It's not like you don't have love or freedom of expression. It just means that you got to work a little bit. You got to practice it. You know what I mean? That's all. You got to practice it. So what if you have one, number 5? With the single 5 in the center of the birth chart, the best chance of achieving a balanced personality becomes available. Wow. If you have a 5 in your birth chart, you have the best chance of achieving a balanced personality. Well, we're talking love and freedom, aren't we? It's also the only number that ensures that none of the corner numbers take on their isolated qualities, as explained at the end of this chapter. Okay, we'll get to that. But yes, I can see that. So this ensures that none of the corner numbers take on their isolated qualities. Why? Love is the nucleus, and freedom is in love as well, right? So yeah, that makes sense. In particular, the single number 5 greatly assists the individual in achieving emotional control, for it ensures that their sensitivity to life develops as a reliable, intuitive guide. This allows them to become more adept at choosing suitable courses of action, rather than responding to situations through thoughtless reaction. Wow. Suitable courses of action. They get more adept at choosing the right path for them, at the least, right? As a valuable protection to sensitivity, the single 5 strengthens fortitude and compassion. That's a fortitude and compassion are valuable protections to sensitivity, fortitude and compassion, thereby creating what we have come to regard as strength of character. People with the number 5, with the single 5, have strength of character. Amazing. It also provides the power of love and freedom that enhances all other forms of expression, right? It gives, because it's the love vibration, it's giving the love to all the other numbers, all the other frequencies. The single 5 assists the individual in understanding their own feelings and so enhances a deep appreciation for the feelings of others. Beautiful. Now, what happens when you double up on that frequency, right? Is the pattern still going to be here? People with this concentration of 5s, having 2 5s, are frequently recognized for their driving intensity. The outward reflection of this vigor is invariably expressed in their powerful, staring eyes and furrowed brows. Intensified determination gives them an air of great confidence and self-assurance, which can often be more wishful than factual. Okay? Can often be more wishful than factual. As they mature, this self-assurance tends to diminish to mere bravado, and they find it difficult to cope with the intense emotional, domestic, and vocational troubles that emerge in their lives from time to time. Okay? So as they mature, that self-assurance diminishes to mere bravado, and then they start to have a difficult time coping. They must watch the tendency to over-intensify these troubles and magnify them out of all proportion, because the sensitivity grows. The drive and enthusiasm of these people can at times become overbearing and the cause of misunderstandings, to the annoyance and exasperation of the people close to them. So intense are they in the expression of their attitudes that they often create emotional turmoil in their environment and develop digestive ulcers and associated health problems in the region of the solar plexus. Wow. Okay. They regularly suffer from indigestion. For many, it has prevailed for so long and become so chronic that they hardly seem to realize that they have it, except for the intestinal gas, constipation, and stomach distension, right? So check your health. Look in, tap in. Is it you? Is it you? Let us know. And are you glad to hear about it? We're glad to know this stuff. Special care should be taken by these people to exercise emotional control, or they could easily become dependent on drugs or sex for the relief and or release of their pent-up emotional energy. Preceding meal times, they must make certain that their emotions don't take charge, or they'll suffer from acute digestion soon after the meal. A hot cup of naturally soothing herb tea, such as chamomile, sipped about half an hour before the meal, plus some soft, relaxing music during the meal, will be greatly beneficial to them, and for that matter, to everyone, right? So this is a great tip. Now you know how you can help yourself to exercising your emotional control. Definitely nervine herbs, right? Herbs for the nerves, chamomile, skullcap, blue vervain, and what have you. So what you want to do is you want to go to cedargroveherbs.com, add those herbs to your shopping cart, start with chamomile, and then use the code Pure Love, PURELOVE, all caps, no space, and get 15% off your order. Right? We can get started today on having a better quality of life, helping ourselves. Right now, we're learning about the energy that we have, your unique energetic makeup. You're learning about your unique energetic makeup. And now you're learning that with more than one five, well, even with the five, you have a sensitive nature, so you want to stay as less stressed out as possible. So you definitely want to get herbs for your nerves, right? And you can get crystals to deal with your emotions. Matter of fact, they're on cedargroveherbs.com. You can actually type in. You can go to the chat bot in the lower left-hand corner. Click it. Click the customer service box, and there is my customer service agent, CPOC. Go ahead and type in what herbs can I use for my emotions or my nerves? What herbs, what crystals can I use for emotions? Right? You can type that in and it'll let you know what herbs or what crystals we have that you can use, for just that purpose. And again, use that special code to get 15% off, right? That code again is all caps, no space, Pure Love, right? Great. Now, what if you have 3 fives? Points made for the double five are even more intensified when a person has 3 fives on their chart, on their birth chart. Such emotional intensity as this can be very difficult for many people to handle. Fortunately, few are born with this extremely intensity. Fortunately, few are born with this extreme intensity of drive and feeling. So when it comes to the number 5, we're dealing with drive and feeling. which sensitivity is all up in there, right? Intuition. Very special and careful training in self discipline has to be a vital part of the early lives of these people. These people with the three number fives. This places unique responsibility on the parents who, rarely equipped for such a task, often feel lost in failing to understand their complex child. Parents should not despair. As their love and understanding wins through, they'll realize how much they've learned from the experience. Okay? For both parents and child, thinking before speaking or acting will enable the influence of wisdom to prevail and will avoid offending the sensitivity of such intense people. Right? We're dealing with sensitivity here. As a consequence, they'll not they'll not then need to erect a barrier to protect their sensitivity, which more effectively ruins their social life and happiness. So they put up a wall and a barrier to protect your sensitivity. We know that. You do it too. So there's a wall and a barrier to protect your inner sensibilities, your sensitivity, right? Even the sensitivity of your ego. You put up walls, cognitive dissonance, and all kinds of psychological terms that they've termed, right? But it's your wall that you put up to protect your sensitivity in your mind, right? So if you deal with them with love, they can actually they won't need to put up that barrier. They can actually experience a life without that barrier, without feeling ashamed for their sensitive nature and thoughts and ideas, and without feeling bullied for their sensitive nature, right? So then they don't have to put up that wall of sensitivity, that wall to protect it. And then by not having to put that wall up, they'll have a better social life, more happiness, right? We know if you close yourself off with this wall due to bitterness or, being jaded and all those things, that your happiness is affected, your social life is affected, right? So let's think about this when we're learning about these things. Let's pull the charts of our children, right? Our family members, and see how we can better be dealing with them based off their unique energetic makeup, okay? Because we can't change that. And who are we to try? What about if you have four number fives? This occurs as rarely as the four number threes and fours, fortunately. The last person to be born with four fives was on 5/25, 1955. And the next birth will not occur until 5/5, 2055. The overwhelming intensity of feeling and sensitivity within the solar plexus of these people, so we're definitely dealing with the solar plexus when it comes to the number five and the heart chakra, right? So the heart chakra, because it says the number five is love, freedom, it's the heart chakra. And so then now also we see though that also we're dealing with the feeling and sensitivity. We're dealing with feelings in the solar plexus. Now, according to human design, it says that in the solar plexus, that's where the feelings are at. And you have three emotional waves that are occurring and coming, pulsating, if you will, from out of the solar plexus center. Okay, so look into that human design and the solar plexus and the feelings straight up. I can't put it, I mean, I can't be more clear. When I read that, I was like, wow, it was great information to hear about. So, yeah, the overwhelming intensity of feeling and sensitivity within the solar plexus of these people can be almost life threatening. Wow. It's so much feeling and sensitivity going on there. It can be almost life threatening for people with four fives. And I guess anybody higher or lower, it would be like a lower level of bad health. All right? This five affects your health. The sensitivity and the feelings, if it's too much here on earth, and anyway, we already know it's all kind of bullshit going on around here on earth. So imagine the sensitive person. They can't handle this shit. And this shit is completely unnecessary too. So, the smart people trying to figure out what the fuck is going on too. Why is it even like this? This is retarded. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I don't know. Anyway, respectfully, no offense to mentally challenged people. That's not what I'm talking about here. But yeah, they're highly accident prone and generally in a state of advanced stress, right? Life has the habit of inflicting accidents upon us to either slow us down or to turn us around if we've digressed from the path. But if we don't reassess our situation, we may find even more intense accidents, lessons, right, strewn along our path, right? This is typical of a person with 4 or 5s, right? Life for these people can be very difficult to understand if they don't permit wise guidance to direct them. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. What about number 6? And let me know if you have the number 5. Let me know if you have a number 5 on your chart. Meet me in the comments. Let me know if you have a number 5. Let's talk about it. I always love to talk about love and freedom, right? I enjoy talking about those topics. So let me know if that's you. Now, when it comes to number 6, located in the center of the mind plane, the number 6 represents human creativity as well as its opposite, destruction, right? Here you have that building up and the destroying. Yes, Kali Ma. Come on. You know, creativity and destroying the creation. Yeah, that too, guys. That too. It's a real thing, right? The choice is always ours as to whether we embrace the positive or negative aspects of a number. But from the number 6 through to the number 9, the divergence between the two aspects becomes more pronounced. Okay? So choose ye this day. Are you going to go with the high vibration route or the low vibration route? The difference is going to be more pronounced as we go from 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Mm-hmm. Creativity is probably best understood as the activity of the creator. And because we are microscopic or minute aspects of the macrocosmic or gigantic power, the faculty of that same creativity, albeit in a much attenuated form, is inherited within all of us, right? So ye are gods. You got a little bit of God in you, so ye too are God. Hey, hey, I said it. All right. So the 6 provides the creative link between the 3 of memory, right? Remember I told you the last episode, the number 3 was talking about memory. But the 3, 6, and 9 are all here on this conscious self, this mind plane, the top plane, right? So the 6 provides the creative link between the 3 of memory and analysis, right? The 3 deals with memory and analysis, or the left brain, and the 9 of responsible idealism, the right brain. So that 6 is like the crease in between the left and the right brain. Come on, right? The left brain is the number 3, memory and analysis. The right brain is the number 9, responsible idealism. The number 6 provides the creative link betwixt the two, right? Yes. The number 6 is also located. Let me take this chart off the screen. We see it. This is great. The number 6 is also located at the head of the arrow of the will. For that, we'll have to see chapter 6, the next chapter. So it's also located, this number 6, at the head of the arrow of the will. and as such brings the will into harmony with the mind. This is achieved with the support of the practical love of the 4 and the love of the 5 underpinning it, right? Because that love of the number 5, that 5 has that love and it touches all other vibrations, helps them as well. A little bit of love and everything, right? So the number 6 helps bring the will into harmony with the mind with the support of the practical love of the 4 and the love of the 5 underpinning it. Birth charts with no number 6, see, they didn't say it for 5 or 4, but I'm just going to assume it's the same thing. There's nothing wrong with you. You just have to consciously work on developing the skill if you don't have a number 6 in the box. Same as if you don't have the number 5, the number 4, all the numbers. If you don't have them in their box, that doesn't mean something's wrong with you. This is the last time I'm going to say it, y'all. I had to repeat it. I need you to know that. Because we're not tearing down here. I didn't choose the tear down side, right? I chose the creative, I chose the positive vibrations, not the toxic not the low vibrations. So the assignment here is to raise your vibrations. That's our assignment here. If you chose the low frequencies and chose to go that route, you know, I encourage you to go to cedargroveherbs.com, get some crystals, get some herbs, sound bowls, tuning forks, books, right, on why you should probably think about making your vibration higher, not lower. You should probably think about choosing the high vibration route, okay? All right, so birth charts with no number 6 indicate the need for the person to consciously develop their creative faculties through the powers of their existing numbers. If they possess the 3, the task is made easier. Without the aid of the 3, they must employ more diligent mental effort to produce the creativity necessary for the development of their individuality. Okay, so that's good information. So if you have one number 6, the number of creativity, it finds its most common expression in the deep love of the home. Wait a minute, I was born June 19th. I have 1/6. I was born 6/19/1980. Yeah, I have 1/6. The number of creativity, it finds its most common expression in the deep love of the home. Okay, true. True, I'm here right now at home. However, its more personal expression can be found in the artistic fields, such as pottery, painting, composing, acting, and similar disciplines, right? People with 1/6 have a strong focus on domestic responsibility, which tends to mask the true role of the 6, creative expression. Okay. However, as these people become more aware and mature, they'll find that domestic satisfaction alone leaves much to be desired, right? I need to be creative. We need to be creative. It is then that they'll exert their strength of will to bring more expressive personal creativity into their lives, or they'll continue to wonder why they're not receiving sufficient fulfillment from their life's endeavors. As they discover the arts, and especially the creative power of music, their lives will blossom amazingly. Oh my God, I'm taking notes right now. Let me write this down. The creative power of music. Yeah, I made one rap song back in the day, back in like 2007. I had fun doing it too. It was quick. I made the beat. I wrote the rap song out. I laid the tracks. I did all that. I did everything. I produced it, wrote it, performed it. My one rap single, I might share it with you guys one day. I don't know. What if you have 2 number 6s? The double 6 can be either a mighty challenge or a heavy handicap. How the individual handles it depends on many factors, such as their ruling number and environmental factors, particularly the early influence of their parents. With less aware people, the negative aspects will be initially inclined to prevail. These produce worry, anxiety, stress, and irritability, particularly around the home and place of work. Loved ones feel this negativity the most, and for all involved, it can produce nervous upsets and illness. This is best counteracted by directing interest beyond the limitations of the home into areas of creative expression. This is not to say that they should neglect their homes or that their homes are not already a place of creative expression. They are vital expressions of their loving care. They simply need to expand their focus to include more personally creative pursuits. Their vocation must be a creative one, inspired by confident and understanding direction. They must be guided, never pushed or threatened. Love and appreciation are vital to them, acting as a balm to their alert nervous system. This is good stuff. I know somebody with a double six. These people require much more rest than most, okay? For they use so much nervous energy in their creative or everyday pursuits. So, nervous energy, again, herbs for the nervous system, right? Herbs for the nervous system, for sure. Crystals to help you with your emotions and your nerves. They must learn to meditate, and I'm sure here, like we said, when we were reading about the solar plexus, you could get crystals for the solar plexus. When we were reading about the heart chakra, you could get crystals to aid you, crystals that help with the heart chakra. And, you know, we're dealing with creativity here. You can get with crystals to help with the sacral chakra, right? That's the creative chakra. So your sacral chakra is a little blocked, clogged up energetically. And you can unblock it by getting crystals for your sacral chakra, right? So this is for people with this nervous energy in their creative or everyday pursuits. These people with these sixes, keep sacral crystals on deck. They must learn to meditate before going to bed to ensure that their sleep is deeply restful. Wow. When possible, and if desired, they should take the time for an afternoon siesta, right? Take a nap. Y'all require more rest than most. People with 2 sixes require much more rest than most, what it said, right? Why? Because they use so much nervous energy in their creative or everyday pursuits. The 6 is dealing with creativity. Remember? Creative expression. Absolutely. The 3 sixes. With the extra 6 on the birth chart comes greater worry concerning the home. Worry that is of the individual's own making, a consequence of domestic confusion. Women suffer more, for they usually do not seek to be involved in anything outside of the home. And as such, they become fanatically protective and possessively loving. The problem with so many people with this power is that they rarely realize its positive potential for brilliant creativity. Instead, they turn it inward upon themselves, and it becomes a tornado of disturbed emotions. Their acute overprotectiveness of their children is indicative of this, right? It's indicative of this. They secretly fear their children growing up and eventually leaving home, creating an unhealthy possessiveness that ultimately drives the children away from the home earlier than might have otherwise occurred. So you see the unraveling of this, the extra energy, doubling and tripling up on this energy causes a unbalanced nature. Special care must be taken to achieve balance in their lives. Wholeness and balance, tribe. Adequate rest, creative expression, and care with diet will provide the appropriate corrective measures. Good to know. Four sixes. Four sixes on a birth chart only occurs thrice a century, the last being June 26, 1966, which at least had the additional numbers 1, 2, and 9 on the birth chart to provide some relief, right? 1, 6, and 9, at least, I'm sorry, at least had the additional numbers 1, 2, and 9 to balance out four sixes. Mm, mm-hmm. Okay. But the next birth date with four fours occurs on June 26, 2066, and only provides two twos as additional help, thereby focusing even more strongly on the enormously heavy burden of the four sixes. Mm-hmm. While four sixes indicates exceptional creative potential, the negative aspect, as stimulated by the emotions, is ever ready to dominate. As such, these people are likely to become pathetic worriers, virtually sabotaging their health and their friendships because of endless complaining. Do you guys know people who complain a lot? They might have four number sixes. Wow. This is, of course, unless their parents have recognized this tendency in the child's early years and have lovingly and patiently guided their child's creative potential. The positive expression of the four sixes can be easily achieved with unconditional love. Hmm. Wow. Well, you guys, we're going to wrap it up right here. We're going to call it a night. I thank you guys for being here with me. Um, Make sure to click that notification bell, right? You don't want to forget to do that. When we come back, we'll go through the numbers 7, 8, and 9, right? So we'll finish up chapter 5 next time with numbers 7, 8, and 9, and then we'll get to the rest of the book. The book is 205 pages long. We're on page 34. So I'll see you guys next time. In the meantime, I hope you guys have a great day. Wholeness and balance.